Season 1 is done, wrapped, finished, and the response it got still doesn't feel real. So now we're kicking off Season 2 of the High Republic series, and this time, nothing's being held back. If you missed Season 1, now's the time to go back and run it. It's all on the channel, I'll link it below. If you're into Star Wars, or just cinematic story pitches in general, you're in the right place. And if you've been watching and enjoying the ride, consider subscribing. Without further ado, let's get into it. The episode opens on a sharp, almost surgical glimpse into the past, 20 years earlier at the dying edge of the Null conflict. The battlefield is chaos, and the Jedi are the ones cutting through it, decisive, coordinated, turning the tide with precision. Then the victory fades into something quieter, more telling. In the aftermath, representatives of the banking clan step forward into the light of Republic cameras, accepting praise, accolades, ownership of the narrative. Behind them, the Jedi stand in silence, exhausted, overlooked, peripheral. No one says it out loud, but the message lands clean. Power decides who gets remembered. Credit isn't earned, it's assigned. A title card pulls us forward. 50 years before the Battle of Naboo, we settle into the present inside the Jedi Temple, where something feels off before anyone says it. Grandmaster Vestrum presides over the council with his usual composure, calm, unreadable, deliberate. Reports come in from the outer edges of the known galaxy, fragmented signals, subtle disruptions in the Force, patterns that don't align with anything documented. There's no clear threat yet, just a growing sense that something is wrong. Vestrum takes that seriously. Not everyone else does. Master Caden Ubax is already disengaged, leaning back slightly, the posture of someone who's decided the meeting has outlived its usefulness. When a non-human council member raises concerns about the disturbances, Caden responds with technical correctness. But there's an edge to it, a quiet dismissal that cuts deeper than anything overt. Vestrum notices. He doesn't call it out. He doesn't need to. Afterward, in the corridor, Caden and Vestrum cross paths again. The contrast is immediate. Caden is sharp, quick, confident to the point of friction. He trusts his instincts, maybe too much. Vestrum listens, measuring more than reacting. There's respect between them, but it's built on tension. Two men aligned in purpose, divided in philosophy. Through their exchange, we learn that Celestis met with Senator Kell several days ago and hasn't been seen since. The council isn't calling it a crisis yet, but the concern is real. Vestrum orders quiet inquiries, controlled, discreet. Caden floats a theory, half-joking that Celestis just needed to disappear for a while. It lands flat. No one's in the mood to pretend. Elsewhere in the temple, Tira sits alone in her quarters. No one has told her anything concrete, and the way the adults speak around her, measured, careful, sanitized, only makes it worse. She doesn't need details to understand the truth. Her father is gone, and the people who are supposed to protect her aren't being honest about it. The temple, once stable and grounding, now feels sterile, temporary, like a place you wait, not a place you belong. The scene shifts to Ilum, cold, vast, and almost unnaturally quiet. Artem has taken up a new post here, surrounded by endless ice fields and ancient crystal caverns that seem to hum with something just beneath perception. Whether this assignment was his choice or not remains unclear. He carries himself like someone at peace, but the distance he's created from the temple, from everything, is intentional, controlled. He works in silence, tending to the sacred spaces with precision, but there are moments, small, almost imperceptible, where he pauses near the crystal caves as if listening. Not to sound, but to something deeper. Waiting, maybe, or anticipating. Back on Coruscant, Senator Xel appears in a dim, tightly framed scene, speaking to someone kept deliberately out of view. The conversation is clipped, cautious. Every word feels measured against consequence. Kale is unsettled. More than that, they're afraid. Whatever happened in that meeting with Celestis, it wasn't simple, and it wasn't contained. The episode closes on Tira lying awake in the dark, eyes fixed on the ceiling. No distractions, no comfort, just thought, processing, deciding. The episode leans hard into Tira's unraveling patience with the temple and the people inside it. She isn't acting out or causing disruption. She's gone quiet in a way that feels deliberate, almost unsettling. The kind of quiet that comes from a decision already made, just waiting for the right moment to be carried out. She moves through the temple with purpose, watching more than speaking, asking questions that are gently avoided or redirected, and mentally filing away every deflection, every omission. The adults think they're protecting her. Tira recognizes it as evasion. Zane is the first to truly see it. He approaches her without the guarded, overly careful tone the others use, and that alone sets him apart. He doesn't try to reassure her with half-truths or platitudes. He sits with her, meets her where she is, and acknowledges the reality of her father's absence. That it matters, that it's serious, that it isn't something she should just accept without question. It's the first conversation that doesn't feel filtered or managed, and for a brief moment it reaches her. He brings in Mira, once his apprentice, now more an equal than a subordinate. Where Zane is measured and empathetic, Mira is sharper, more direct, almost blunt in her honesty. It shouldn't work, but with Tira, it does, at least in flashes. Mira doesn't soften the truth or dance around it, and Tira responds to that clarity. There's respect there, even if it's unspoken. But even Mira hits the same wall as everyone else. She can't give Tira what she actually wants, real information about her father, and a reason, an honest one, to stay. Meanwhile, the situation beyond the temple escalates. A second wave of disturbances ripples in from the outer rim, but this time there's nothing abstract about it. Ships, large, coordinated, moving with intent. Their formations don't match anything in Republic archives, and their origin remains unknown. Whatever this is, it's organized. Caden feels it immediately. The edge in him sharpens. He's still irreverent, still quick with humor, but it's thinner now, more strained. He pushes for proactive reconnaissance, something assertive, something that meets the threat head-on. Vastrom, by contrast, urges restraint. Observation first, understanding before action. Their disagreement remains outwardly respectful, but there's a clear tension underneath it. Caden's frustration with what he sees as hesitation begins to surface, while Vastrom quietly registers the bias driving that frustration. In the middle of it, a younger non-human Jedi offers an analysis, measured, thoughtful, but Caden cuts them off before they can finish. It's quick, almost instinctive. Vastrom lets the interruption hang in the air for a beat, then calmly redirects, asking the younger Jedi to continue. It's a small moment, but it lands. Authority, respect, and perspective all shifting subtly in the same exchange. Elsewhere, Senator Kale becomes harder to categorize. They aren't playing the role of a straightforward antagonist. If anything, they're unsettled, carrying the weight of knowledge they don't fully understand. Whatever happened to Celestis, it wasn't isolated. It was part of something larger, something that may have pulled Kale in deeper than they ever intended. A meeting is arranged with a Republic intermediary, a chance to finally speak openly. But at the last moment, Kale withdraws. Fear wins out. Whether it's fear of consequences or fear of being watched, it's clear they don't feel safe enough to tell the truth yet. By the time Tira makes her move, it feels inevitable. She's spent days studying the temple like a system, tracking patterns, memorizing movement, identifying gaps in attention. When she leaves, it isn't chaotic or desperate. It's precise, controlled. That's what makes it hit harder. This is a child operating with the calculated mindset of someone who's learned not to rely on the people who are supposed to protect her. She gets off Coruscant. She finds a ship. The details are left just out of focus, whether it's luck, quiet assistance, or a deeper ability she hasn't revealed yet. But the outcome is undeniable. She's gone, and she knows exactly where she's going. Ilum. When Zane realizes she's missing, there's no confusion, only a sharp, immediate understanding. The look he shares with Mira says everything without a word. They know her well enough to guess her destination, and they know how far ahead she already is. They're going after her, but they're behind. On Ilum, deep within the crystal caves, Artem pauses mid-step. Something shifts. He looks up, not reacting to a sound, but to a presence. Something distant, approaching, and significant. The force stirs around him, subtle but undeniable, as if bracing for something it hasn't felt in a long time. The episode opens in a way the series hasn't attempted before, anchored entirely in the perspective of something that does not belong to this galaxy. At the threshold of known space, a fleet hangs in perfect formation, vast and unnervingly precise. The ships are unlike anything in Republic records, sleek, monumental, engineered with a cohesion that suggests not just advanced technology, but a unified doctrine behind it. This is not a scouting party. This is infrastructure. On the bridge of the lead vessel, Grand Regent Tome is introduced without ceremony. Humanoid in form, but carrying a presence that feels older than any institution in the Republic, measured, immovable, almost geological in its weight. The title alone implies hierarchy beyond what we're seeing, authority delegated from something larger, more systemic. Tome doesn't posture. There's no theatrics, no indulgence in power. Every movement reads as adherence to a plan already set in motion long before this moment. The Verslian Empire didn't arrive here by chance. This is a deliberate incursion, executed with patience and absolute certainty. The episode withholds explicit motivation, but it doesn't need to explain. The scale of the fleet, the discipline of its crew, and the way Tome surveys the stars ahead communicates enough. There's no urgency in their posture, no hesitation either. They are not reacting to this galaxy, they've already accounted for it. However, this ends, they believe they know the outcome. The shift back to the Republic is immediate and destabilizing. Reports reach the Jedi Council and Republic Command at the same time. The fleet has advanced, not skirting the edges anymore, moving inward, deliberately. Still no communication, still no aggression. Just presence, controlled, sustained, undeniable. The council chamber carries a different kind of tension now. Vystrom remains composed, but the stillness he projects has changed. This isn't detachment, it's containment. He understands the magnitude of what they're facing and is actively choosing discipline over reaction. Around him, uncertainty spreads in quieter ways. Caden is different too. The levity he usually leans on is almost entirely absent. He offers a single deflective remark early on, but even he seems aware it doesn't land. As the discussion turns to the fleet's structure and the humanoid nature of its commanders, something more nuanced surfaces in him. He appears less unsettled by their form than others might expect, an instinctive calibration that exposes the edges of his bias rather than removing it. It's subtle, but noticeable, and it complicates how the room reads him. Vystrom advocates for first contact, an envoy, an attempt at dialogue before escalation. Caden pushes back. Not reflexively this time, but with a line of reasoning that holds weight. Unknown force, unknown intent, unknown capability, approaching without leverage could be a liability. The council fractures along that axis, caution versus initiative, interpretation versus preparation. Vystrom makes the call. The envoy stands, but the divide between him and Caden is no longer theoretical. It's operational. Cut to Ilum. Tira's ship tears through the atmosphere and lands harder than she intended, but intact. The world meets her with immediate hostility, cutting cold, endless white, and a silence that doesn't feel empty so much as aware. In the distance, the crystal caves rise like something ancient and observant. There's a resonance here she can't name, but it registers instinctively. She barely has time to orient herself before Artem appears. Or more accurately, before it becomes clear he was already moving toward her landing site before she arrived. There's no surprise in him, no urgency either, just a quiet acknowledgement of something he expected. Their first exchange is restrained. Artem doesn't reprimand her, doesn't question the logistics of how she made it this far. He studies her, then asks a single question. Why Ilum? Tira doesn't give a clean answer because she doesn't have one. She came because staying felt like erasing herself, because no one at the temple would tell her the truth, because her father is gone and motion felt better than waiting. And underneath all of that, because something pulled her here, whether she understands it or not. Artem listens without interruption, measures the answer for what it is, not what it lacks. Then, without dramatics, he turns and gestures for her to follow. No promise, no explanation. Just an unspoken decision to let her stay, at least for now. The final image returns to the fleet, silent, unchanged, inevitably advancing. Tome stands before a wide viewport, the galaxy stretched out in cold geometry. An aide approaches, delivers a concise report, targeted, specific. A location has been identified, a world selected. Tome doesn't react outwardly, no satisfaction, no hesitation, just a single confirming nod. And that's going to do it for part 1 of season 2, but don't go anywhere because part 2 is coming very shortly. We're just getting warmed up. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button now, and I'll see you in the next one.